What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 263, and there were some technical difficulties on this episode. Quick little interruption. Everett was out in LA. We were trying to record it together in the same room. Unfortunately, we did not exactly take the right precautionary steps to check for echoing. So, we're just gonna cut right into the middle of our second recording without the echo, but might be a little out of the ordinary. Think we're about to be mentioning some like MVP NFL candidates, which no, you're not gonna hear. We're gonna address it as if we just talked about it, but no, you're not gonna hear that. We're just gonna cut into some stuff. But yeah, I'll put a finger up. This is on me, boys. Not on the unnamed intern, not on Everett. This is my fault. I messed this one up. That's on me, boys. Yell at me, get mad at me. But without further ado, here's the rest of the episode. All right, pardon the interruption, everybody. We're not recording the day after. Had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, there were some technical difficulties in post yesterday, but you know what? It kind of worked. I know we were talking about coaches when this cut, but
yeah, I believe I had just said Brian Daboll is still 100% alive, coach of the year. I'm not saying he's winning it. I'm just saying
he might be in contention. I think I kind of brought that up, and you were like, yeah. But what I will say, and we were talking about coaches, is kind of worked out. Robert Saleh got fired this morning. This is now Tuesday, I guess.
And now the Jets claim the reasoning is expectations that were not met.
Yeah. Also, I did learn that Woody Allen, I think is the owner, his brother is the one who hired Saleh, and he had no influence. Like, it was not his choice.
The owner did not want.
The owner's brother hired Saleh because I think Woody Allen was like the British ambassador during that time, so he wasn't making decisions. So they hired Saleh, and he came back, and Saleh was just his coach. But I can't say.
The Jets keep talking.
The Jets have a top 5 defense in the NFL right now. They have one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and the same amount of stats, I think, as their offense last year with Zach Wilson. I see one common denominator there, and it's not Robert Saleh. Right? Can you guess what the common denominator there is?
The quarterback play.
No, Nathaniel Hackett.
That. Yeah, then that as well. Yeah,
quarterback play. I mean, I would hope that Aaron Rodgers is playing better than Zach Wilson, but it is.
But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is playing up to Aaron Rodgers standards that you'd hope or expect.
No, he's not. He's not. But I will say it's just we're gonna fire people. You start with Nathaniel Hackett. I don't care if it pisses off Aaron Rodgers.
I believe I have this correct. They have no plans to fire Nathaniel Hackett.
No, they don't. They don't. They're not planning on it, and I doubt that they will. I'm just surprised because of how
I'm surprised too that he was the first to go.
And also, I feel bad for Robert Saleh because he got stuck with an offensive coordinator he didn't want, he got stuck with Zach Wilson, who he didn't want to draft. That was a Woody Allen ownership decision to draft Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
So I feel bad, and I feel like he deserves to have another chance at being a head coach in the NFL. And in the meantime, come be a defensive assistant for the Vikings. Come be a defensive assistant.
I'd love to have him on staff. Now, Saleh, he came from the Niners, correct?
Yeah, he was the Niners DC, and based on the way that this seems to be working out, Brandon Staley, we'll see you later. Robert Saleh, welcome back to be the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I don't think Staley's DC. I think he's like assistant
advisor. Who is DC?
Yeah, it was Steve Wilkes.
It was Steve Wilkes before, but I think Steve Wilkes got fired.
I remember D'Amico a couple of years ago. I don't know who's replaced D'Amico since. So,
well, it was D'Amico, then it was Steve Wilkes after D'Amico, but I think he just got fired.
Oh yeah, no. They fired their DC last year. I remember hearing Nick Bosa did not like the DC
Steve
last
Wilkes,
year.
No.
And but apparently a lot of them, they scapegoated Wilkes out. And I think the Niners as a team, just defensively, culture, locker room wise, they're better off getting rid of him. But Right now, the Niners, it's a weird state right now with the injuries on offense. No McCaffrey. It's a strange time.
Yeah, I keep seeing
Ayuk is
this, by the
back
way.
though. That's good to
Ayuk
see.
is back. I keep seeing this though, by the way. I keep seeing people being like, yeah, the Vikings don't deserve. I know we had Vikings talk before this, by the way. But the Vikings don't deserve to be like I've seen people rank like the Lions are being ranked with the Vikings right now on like PFT's rankings and stuff.
Here, I think
Um,
this is going to mean more coming from me because I'm not a Vikings fan, but like the difference between a Vikings 5-0 and some other, I guess Chiefs are the only other 5-0 team, I believe. But
yeah.
the difference between the Vikings and other 4-1 teams. So let's say the Bills, okay?
Well,
At one
that's
point,
not even
just
really.
real quick, give me one second. Like Bills, people were hyping them up a couple weeks ago when they were 3-0, and they were looking past who they played. They were not they were getting them benefit of the doubt. Actually, that's not Seahawks is a better example. They start off 3-0, and we were sitting here just like, wait, let's look at who Seattle played. They had Bryce Young Panthers. Uh, who else? They had some bums that they
You're
started the
talking
year.
about Seattle.
Yeah,
They think they play the Patriots too.
but yeah, no, they were 3-0 at one point. Minnesota was 3-0. The difference is that, like, sure, Seattle was beating up on bad teams. They were, and they weren't even necessarily looking great doing so. The difference is that the Vikings were destroying very good teams and looking very good on both sides of the ball. Like, hey, I'll be honest, I am a Sam Darnold fanboy, so it's a little bit easier for me to get on the Vikings this year, but like the reason why the Vikings are ranked so highly, it's a combination of everything involved. Their offense looks amazing. Their defense looks excellent. Uh, it's not a fluke 5-0. Like they beat Houston, they beat
Yeah, well,
Green
so
Bay.
here's the thing. This was the whole point that I was getting to. The whole thing that I've seen, especially with those rankings, was oh yeah, well let's look at this, right? Giants suck. The Vikings beat up on a bad Giants team. And then we have the
The
49ers. And
Giants
the
have been looking pretty
49ers are
good
below,
recently.
but they're like, oh, the 49ers are below 500 this year. So, or at right now. So, like, you can't take them into consideration. And then they're like, well, the Texans don't look as good as last year. And then they talk about the Jets. And like, the Jets are trash. They just fired their head coach. Okay. I mean, sure, you want to argue that that's fine. But in no way are we going to be talking about. I mean, like, I need to pull up who the Lions have actually played to make this full point because I don't remember it off the top of my
Okay, I'll
head.
check real quick.
But
So Lions,
in comparison to who the Vikings have played, consensus wise, the Lions
have
have played the
beaten
Rams,
Rams,
the Bucks, who are good, the Cardinals, fantastic, and the
and
Seahawks,
Seahawks,
not great. All right, compare that to the Texans, who have a top
Niners.
defense as well, the Niners, who consensusly have a pretty good defense, and the Jets, who have a top five defense. Huh. Don't think the Rams have a great defense. Don't think the Cardinals have a great defense. And don't think the Seahawks have a great defense. So I don't really know what we're talking about with regards to that. Yeah, maybe the 49ers are below 500 right now. But
I mean,
at the
come on.
same time,
49ers have been like 7-point favorites in every game this year. Like, come
yeah,
on, guys.
at the same time, it's not like the 49ers are losing like decisively to these teams. They barely lost the Vikings, barely lost the Rams, who, by the way, the Rams, it's interdivision games. Throw everything out the window. Rams always give them trouble. Lost the Cardinals, also in interdivision,
No, it's like I
right?
swear, Kyle
Like,
Shanahan, like the one guy he can't coach against is Sean McVay. Like,
no, well, and KOC now,
yeah.
but it literally is. It literally is. And I mean, the Lions, if you want to say the Lions are more deserving of it when they have a loss to the Bucks, like, okay, they still lost to the Bucks. Like, let's start there. So that's just kind of the point I wanted to make. You have a 5-0 team. You have a team with a loss, and that loss to the Bucks, who also lost to the Broncos. Like,
Yeah,
all
I'd say
right,
like
let's
also just
relax.
in general, like start of the year, preseason expectations can be baked in a little bit harder. Like the Niners being what 3-2 right now, like sure we'd expect
Yeah,
them to be better, but like it's still the 49ers that we're talking about here. Like it's not like a Seattle 3-2 versus Niners 3-2. Like moving forward, you would still expect the Niners to win more than Seattle. I can get the early year. sure, you can, you know, have some more
Like,
predictions baked into your rankings, but you haven't
yeah.
beat like it's not like you've
I also will just
Dolphins,
I will just
Panthers.
say that plus like to this point 5-0. Like you're looking, this is like the big thing we always have to talk about when we're doing lists and we're making rankings. We're saying at this point in time, right? When you play next week, yeah, you win, great. You're a better team, right? But at this very moment in time, the Vikings are a better team. And when they play the Lions, do the Lions beat the Vikings? All right, the Lions beat the Vikings. Cool. Like it's great. But at this very moment, the Vikings are 5-0. They have beat 3 of the top teams in the NFL or best teams in the NFL, depending on whichever perspective that you think.
I think without doubt, Niners and Houston are top teams. So those two and Packers. So
Yeah.
those three,
And
yeah.
and they're undefeated. Like I don't know, like what more do you want the Vikings to do in that time frame with that schedule? Like you can't flip a switch going from the Vikings are going to start off 0-5, like all these teams are so great, and then the Vikings finally win, and you're like, yeah, kind of undeserving actually. Like those teams aren't that good. No, that you can't. That's not how this works. And it's just Lions fans have really gotten on my. I mean, I don't even need to go
You've
into
been over
that
this a
much.
lot. We know.
Yeah,
We
we've
know.
been over that a lot. But
No.
anyways,
But I
that
get
was
it
my
though.
that was
Like
I just needed to make that. So
it
I had seen
makes it makes sense. Like, hey, it's remind me of Michigan fans. Like Lions fans are quite literally Michigan fans, and now they're relevant for the first time in their lifetimes. And I get it. It's exciting. Like if the Chargers were very relevant right now, I would also be very annoying. Uh, so I understand the excitement. Not putting Lions fans at fault. I'd also be hyped right now. You guys do look nasty. Uh, but it's kind of like we were kind of getting at the point. You are now you're sitting at the big kids table, and if you want to stay at the table, you better act like a big boy,
No,
not
we'll
like a
see.
little
If we
brother.
beat the Lions, awesome. We keep the train up. If we lose to the Lions, okay, you guys got the best of us. We need to figure our stuff out so we don't keep losing games. Like it's not that deep. It's really not that big of a deal, and I don't know why people make it out to
Yeah, I
be
mean,
more than that.
like we'll get into my college football rankings in a second. We're taking it after week 6. I for me, I'm a believer of results have to matter. Like results on the field matter. I'm still torn between where to put Alabama and Georgia because head to head should matter. I think head to head should matter. If one team beat the other, that should be recognized and reflected on at the end of the year in rankings. I will say though, when one of the teams loses to Vanderbilt, it makes me think twice. It makes me think twice on how to rank these. How much do I value head to head with a Vandy loss? It has me thinking, Everett. But uh, I guess last thing on the NFL, Everett. Robert Saleh just got fired. We did not think he was going to be the first one to be fired. I really thought Doug Peterson was a lock. Everett, who do we think's next most likely to be fired?
Yeah, so we were talking about this before we got cut out. We were talking about hot seat, hot or not, which I think we should go back through because I don't
Yeah,
think we
we could.
got that.
Yeah, we could quickly go through hot or not again.
But Robert Saleh was on there, and I think we were saying like hot, lukewarm. But
yeah.
yeah, let's
You
let's
want to do
go
that
back
again, real
through
quick?
hot or
Okay.
not.
AFC East right now. I am not going to put Mayo Patriots on there. Obviously, New York just happened. McDaniel Miami
His seat's hot. It's
hot.
it's warm. It's
Okay.
warm. It's getting toasty.
AFC North. Let's do Cincy first, then Cleveland. So Cincy was Zach Taylor, then Cleveland Stefanski.
I would say as much as fans want to have Zach Taylor fired, and would fans would say hot, I would say his seat's more like warm right now. You're like the oven's heating up. All right, it's you're on 400 degrees. It's on preheat. All right,
I have heard though that according to my Ohio State Bengals Twitter accounts I follow, the Bengals GM's pretty cheap. He doesn't want to fire mid. He doesn't want to buy out or anything.
No, he's not going to do
So
that. I think that even though, as an outside perspective, his seat should be hot, I feel like it's barely warm right now. It's preheated. It's preheated. It's like it's not. It probably won't happen.
it's in the process of preheating.
Yeah. They're walking over to turn the stove on.
Yeah. AFC South, Jacksonville, Peterson.
Hot.
Uh, I think we said no on AFC West, right? AP, no.
AFC West.
Raiders
Yeah,
is the only
no.
one, but no,
It
they're
should
not
be
gonna
it
fire
should
AP.
be Antonio Pierce, but
But
he just
no,
got
no,
hired,
he's
so
fine.
you won't.
NFC Sirianni
Sirianni
and
and
Fat
Fat
Carthy.
Carthy. Yeah, and Fat Carthy.
Yeah,
I don't really think any otherwise. Dan Quinn doing fantastic dog. Jable or
yeah, Dable's chilling.
Dable. I don't think he's just
So
with
far,
Daniel
he's
Jones
chilling,
there. There's no reason
and
for
he
them to
gets an
fire
excuse.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if he gets through next year with a rookie quarterback and it's just as bad,
Okay.
yeah, then maybe.
Yeah. NFC North, Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus. We had some
Eberflus
fun
would
on this,
be my extremely hot seat. I think Ryan Poles should fire him for
but
the
I
benefit
don't.
of
Yeah, we
the
were saying
Bears.
this. We believe Eberflus should be fired. I'm a Justin Fields truther too. But I don't think Ryan Poles believes Eberflus should be fired. I think that's the disconnect. NFC South, I think we ultimately decided no. Raheem Morris just got a big win. Canales is safe in Carolina.
Canales is safe. Raheem Morris is definitely safe. He just got hired.
Yeah, we were saying maybe Dennis Allen, New Orleans.
Yeah, if this is
But
a collapse of the season, because I mean they did just lose the Chiefs last night. I think, ironically speaking, we were watching the Chiefs game. It just turned on right when like the mics cut out, so we probably were talking about it before saying this. But the Saints ended up losing that game.
yeah,
And I think if this season goes from where they started to just a total collapse, yeah, Dennis Allen's seat is getting warmer by the day.
NFC West, nobody.
No, Bus is safe.
Yeah, Bus is safe. Obviously, McVay. I mean, for McVay and Shanahan, it's literally when do you want to step away? Like you're not getting fired. It's when do you want to leave?
Basically, yeah.
Obviously, things could happen, but as of right now, how they are, it's the only way they wouldn't be head coach of the Niners or Rams if they left.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's coach breakdown. All right. Before college football, I have a quick MLB thing about the Los Angeles Dodgers. So game one was a crazy, crazy comeback. We were watching, or no, we were not watching it. We were texting through it. You were flying in, but
yeah,
game one was unbelievable. It was just a reminder, 700 million worth every penny. Shohei reminded everybody what he's about. That was crazy. If Shohei doesn't hit that home run to tie it up, like we're getting swept. And I don't know if we score another run. I don't know if we score a run the entire series if Shohei doesn't tie the game up there with that 3-run home run. But I will say it was kind of scary how that first game went. And also what I realized, like the Padres bullpen is not great. The Padres bullpen is not very reliable at all. The issue is our lineup isn't reliable either late in the game when we get punched in the mouth early. So
nothing
the
on
Padres
our team is reliable,
can survive a bad bullpen when, hey, I've been taught my whole life, baseball, you need a bullpen to win a World Series. I've been taught that my whole life. You need arms out of the pen to win a World Series. The ironic thing about the Dodgers is like technically we got 4 guys I'm confident in out of the pen. Vesia, I'm very confident in. Phillips, I'm confident in. Treinen, I'm confident in. Of course, Kopech, I'm confident in. My issue is going into a late series. It may be difficult getting some outs on the Padres. Tatis is truly playing like a man with his head on fire right now. Manny has... It pains me because Manny in the 2018 playoff run was so bad for us. And 2019 first series in LA, there's a fan sitting there right in front of Manny, just like, hey, why didn't you come back to LA, man? And Manny said, like, I wanted to. They just didn't pay me. Like, Manny did want to come here. He didn't want to stay here.
Yeah, now he
We
hates
didn't take him. Yeah, now he despises us, plays with 3 chips on his shoulder every time he plays against us. It's just a bad recipe for success. And I've also been saying this for some past World Series runs. Of course, you're going to need top-end talent that produces. Don't get me wrong, okay? We look at Phillies past couple of years. You have Bryce, you got Trey, you got Schwarber, you got Castellanos. You got big guys getting big-time hits when you need it. But also, those past Phillies teams, they got two guys, younger guys, not making a lot of money producing, and Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott. They got young guys coming up and hitting and producing for them. And unfortunately, San Diego has the same thing. Jackson Merrill is unbelievable. He's their center fielder. He's 20 years old, Everett. He's younger than us. That's sad to think about. And he is lighting it up right now. He hit a massive home run to go up 5-1 on Sunday over us to just ice the game. The Padres have that it factor this year, and it's scary to watch. And last thing I'll say about this team, Everett, I think I'm fully with you. Hearing Dave Roberts take offense to Machado on Sunday. Now apparently Dave Roberts feels as if Machado threw a ball intentionally to the Dodgers dugout planning to hit Dave Roberts. Now I rewatched the clip. Sure, Machado may have thrown a ball towards the dugout, but if you're gonna really get mad at that and complain to the MLB saying Machado threw this ball at me and he was trying to hit me, that hurt my feelings. Like, Dave, what are you trying to do? Like, you just lit a bonfire in San Diego. Like, bro, you think Machado's gonna listen to that and be like, yeah, no. I'm totally in the wrong here. Yeah. No. Now Machado's looking at you like the biggest pathetic baby. Now he's gonna kill you. Now you're gonna complain to the big MLB security guards. Oh, look, they try to hit me. Like, no, Dave, that was pathetic and embarrassing. Utterly embarrassing. Like, the fact you complained about that it's bad. It's not a good look. And if Dave, that's the culture. If Dave wants to set a culture at Dodgers, for the LA Dodgers, like we're Michigan, and we just cheat our way through things and just complain and never take any accountability for any of our mistakes, that's not the guy I want leading my team. If my manager isn't accountable, doesn't hold himself accountable, just looks for excuses, pointing fingers, that's not the guy I want running my team. Don't turn us into Michigan. We have more pride than that.
I love the fact that we do well in the regular season, and we always do well in the regular season, make the postseason. Doesn't matter if you can't win in the postseason. And I think that any competent coach that Andrew Friedman would hire would be able to do a good enough job with the roster that the Dodgers have to make it to the playoffs.
I'm also literally not even thinking about managing decisions. Just if that's the attitude and culture he's going to set, I want him out.
Yeah, and you wonder why they always do bad out of the bye week that they typically get in the playoffs, and it's that's the coach mentality. That's the mentality that goes into your locker room.
No, that's the mentality set.
I think there is no way, if you give another coach the job that Dave Roberts has, keep in mind, it is one of the most coveted coaching positions in all of sports and all of baseball, is to be that
I'd say manager for baseball, other than the Yankees and maybe the Cardinals. Dodgers is next.
Yeah. And I would say if, any competent coach, you give anybody else this roster, they will be able to do, to this point, the same job Dave Roberts has done. And if they can't, they shouldn't be a head coach. They shouldn't be a coach in the MLB to begin with. Because if you have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, you have Teoscar Hernandez, you have Max Muncy, and pitching staff-wise, you have Jack Flaherty, you have Yamamoto, you have Glasnow, like one of the best to ever do it in Clayton Kershaw, and you cannot win a single playoff game, or to that you can't get them to the postseason in the same manner that Dave Roberts has to this point, something is wrong with your ability to coach. And I think that anybody else can do the same job Dave Roberts has done to this point. Maybe not like Rocco Baldelli, but of the Twins, but anybody else can probably do it. Little shout out to the Twins because they collapse every single year because of managing decisions. But
I didn't know we were going to jab at Minnesota baseball today. No, it's sad to watch this team. I'm expecting to lose 2 straight in San Diego here, go out 3-1 with our tail between our legs, ducking our heads, trying to just leave.
I do think obviously they need to talk to Shohei if any big decisions are happening because of his contract. But if I'm Andrew Friedman, I'm sitting there this offseason. There was already talk about it last offseason, but I'm sitting here this offseason and I'm like, uh, it might be time. It might be time. And I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
if we
I don't
lose this
even.
series, Grant, I think that you and I
We
need to do
are.
a serious look at
We're
who
losing
the
the
best
series.
replacement options would be for Dave.
Uh, yeah, no, I'm already getting the short list open. I already got a list of names. I'm already taking a quick gander at right now. Uh, yeah, I just feel like though objectively, like I want a manager who demands more out of our team. Like I just want a manager who will get the best out of our guys when we need it. I will say also just last thing, Dodgers. I apparently after the game yesterday, Mookie took like 400 swings in the cage, and he was asked about his postseason struggles. Mookie Betts has not recorded a hit in his past 22 postseason ABs. Uh, and Mookie was there after hitting 300, 400 swings in the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was quite literally the Dodgers version of D'Lo putting up shots after the Lakers playoff
Mookie
loss.
is quite literally one of the, which is ironic
Dookie
considering
Betts, call him by
his
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 name.
biggest thing is like that he was doing well in the postseason before he came to the Dodgers.
Well,
And
I'll be honest, I was looking up that
really,
2018 World Series. I'm not sure if you remember ever, but Dookie Betts wasn't doing very hot. Xander Bogaerts was also not
yeah,
very
like
hot.
here's the thing, like
Steven
Mookie
Pierce is the reason the Red Sox shit on us. Steven
Mookie
Pierce.
is quite literally one of the worst hitters I have ever seen in the postseason. I don't know why, which also when the Padres just kept walking him, intentionally walking him, it was kind of like, I'm gonna
I
be
don't know
honest,
why they were
I
doing that. I was like,
probably would
thank
be
you.
pitching him. I would be intentionally walking Freddie. I would be pitching Mookie. Mookie is so unbelievably bad in the postseason. And the one thing I saw someone be like, yeah, why don't we just give the opportunity to somebody else, you know, to like, just to hit because it can't get worse than Mookie. The reason why they will never do that is because one, it's Mookie and they're not
Yeah,
going to
no.
bench
You
one of
have
their
to
team
you have
leaders.
to start with
But two, the fielding advantage Mookie Betts gives you compared to how
well,
bad
yeah,
his
yeah, of
batting
course.
is
Uh,
so monumentally
yeah.
impactful that they
And
will
hey,
never sway that.
2020 World Series run. Mookie was playing well, but Mookie and Cody robbed like 4 home runs in the 2020 World Series or 2020 playoff run. Mookie's glove was very, very needed. Hey, no, I will say this: like Mookie, I know I'm going to continue crapping on him. He's one of our star players, and he shits the bed every October. I'm going to get on your ass. Uh, but no, we're not gonna bench him. We're not gonna do that. Like it
No,
sucks. We kind of need to just hope he gets out of his slump here. It sucks, but
I would seriously
I'm not
contemplate
gonna
moving him in
hit
the
Kevin
lineup though.
Kiermaier over him.
I would seriously he's batting 2 right now. I would seriously
Yeah,
contemplate moving him down. Put Teoscar at 2, honestly.
yeah, that could play.
I
I'm
would much
honestly
rather
okay
see
with that.
Teoscar bat 2 than Mookie Betts right now.
I'm okay with that. I'm not totally
And
out
I
against that.
hope if we lose tonight, series 1-1. If we lose tonight, Grant,
We're gonna lose tonight.
we will. But if that happens, I need to see drastic steps taken uh for this next game. Win or lose, I want to see Dave Roberts do something and not just turtle into the same old like thing he does. He's like, I'm gonna stick with this until I die, right? If we lose tonight, I want to see. I think Jack Flaherty will probably start that next game based off of just the fact that
Max
you
getting
think
next
Yum
game or Walker's getting
Walker's getting
tonight.
tonight.
Matt
I'm
gets
saying,
game 4.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think like you have that. I think you can do that. But the bullpen wise, the usage in the bullpen, I want to see be completely different if we lose tonight. And going into the lineup
Wow.
for that next
So
game, if we lose, well, I think that Dave has a tendency to put pitchers sometimes in bad situations. And also, he has a tendency to, he doesn't let pitchers close out times where they kind of should or they should and they need to. Like,
So
I
I'll be
think if
honest,
you
this year my complaint has actually been Dave's leaving dudes in too long. Earlier
really,
this year there was one time where Glasnow was at like 108,
well, I'm more so
108
looking at
through
the postseason.
7.
I'm just looking at the postseason specifically. I'm not thinking regular season.
Uh, my big problems with Dave this year has been him leaving starters, and I think that's contributed to a lot of our
I'm
injuries.
also I'm also just more so thinking about the actual bullpen itself. Like he's taking out guys like Bandit. He's putting Bandit into a situation where he should not be
Well,
pitching there.
that was okay. Like we
But
burned a
I'm just
lot.
saying as a general thing, like I want to be seeing him using it's win or go home. And in that situation, I want to see him pulling out the big guys and using them proactively instead of, oh yeah, I'm going to use Banda for this half inning and then I'm going to actually use Michael Grove. Like no, like Michael Grove should be pitching that whole.
Well, I mean,
And
I'll say the last game we were losing.
yeah, no, that's fair. But I'm just saying as a general note, like Dave Roberts has a tendency to use a maximum amount of pitchers he can, but he doesn't use them properly. Is really the point that I'd be trying to make.
I don't quite follow, to be completely honest.
That's fine. But the bigger thing is lineup wise. If Mookie Betts or Max Muncy or whoever goes over tonight, I want to see it all get mixed up. I don't want Mookie batting two. Max Muncy should go down the lineup a little bit. I know you still want your left, right, left, right. But let's move around and have our hotter hitters actually hitting earlier.
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest. Lineup right now, I like it. I think it's nice. I liked having Edmund in there late, with the little switch.
That's fine,
I
but
like. I think it's
I
all
just
right.
I
If
think
it
we
were up
need
to me, Dookie Betts hit the baseball, bro.
yeah, but I
Freddie
mean
Freeman hit the
you're not gonna
baseball.
force a guy who can't hit a baseball to be able to hit a baseball in crunch time. Like to
I
me,
can
I would rather
expect
have
him to do that.
I would expect him to, but it doesn't mean he will. I would just say as a general thing, if we have bats that are hot, right? If Mookie is still over, right? And let's say
Here.
but let's say Teo's hot, right? Freddie's hot, whatever. I would rather have my 1 through 4 be the guys who are hot right now and try to get points early, which we never are able to do, and start that way. So we start off with something going rather than, oh shit, Mookie just striked out again. Well, Freddie's on base, but damn it, Max Muncy just hit a pop out.
I mean, I get what you're
Double play,
trying to
right?
say. Like,
So
of course, I'd love to score runs early on the game. I still think we have the best chance of doing that with the current lineup.
yeah,
But
if it's an if though.
I like, I mean, if we bumped up, I don't know, Lux to 3 hole or
Well, no, it's more so specifically if Teo moves with Mookie, right? Teo's been at the start of the lineup before. Shohei, Teo, Freddie. Then maybe you put Mookie at 4.
sure. Yeah, I okay, but I mean, hey, I'll be honest, Teo. I was a big fan of Teo in the offseason before we signed him. I was like, Teoscar Hernandez is the guy we should go after. This guy I like a lot. Righty hitter, provides balance, good fielder, not great. But we'll add some versatility. And I'm seeing a lot of Dodgers fans saying we got to re-sign Teo. We need to re-sign Teo no matter what. I'm gonna say no to that. Teoscar, profile wise, projecting long term, everything that makes him great is only going to get worse with age, as we move
No,
forward.
that's objectively true. But in the
I'm
moment right
not
now, though,
paying Teoscar like 80 over 4.
yeah,
This is
but
probably
that
gonna be
also
our
doesn't.
last year with him.
To clarify, though, you're saying as a long term thing, and not that like as of this very moment, he doesn't
Yeah,
deserve a long contract. He's playing to that level where he deserves a contract. He's playing great, but it doesn't mean that long term he's the best solution for the Dodgers.
I'm not sure if he's quite playing to deserve it either. Like he makes some blunders in the outfield. Like hey, I'll be honest. A couple of years ago, I saw Corey Seager make an error for the Dodgers, and I said I never want to see Corey Seager play shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers ever again in my life. I'm completely fine with that take moving forward now. If you look how hurt Seager's been past couple, I know they won a ring last year. I know, it hurts.
Yeah, that he can't.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
but
I'm Zero
I just
shame
want
at
to
all
see
letting him
I
walk.
just want to see if we lose tonight. Like I want Dave Roberts to coach this next game like it's his last game ever, and he's coaching for his job, which I know he won't do. He's probably not even concerned about that. But I just want to see like if things aren't working, I want to see him try to do something to amend the things that are not working. Because it's always like beating a dead horse. It is like I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over until it eventually pays off. The problem is, to this point in the playoffs, he has done the same thing every year over and over and over, and it has not worked.
Well, I mean, recently, like, I mean, I'm not like last year. I'm not blaming Dave for Kershaw giving up 6 in the
No,
first.
that's fine. Yeah, I know Bobby and I know Kershaw and I know Lance Lynn all
Whew.
sucked, right? I know that. But even outside of that though, outside of the COVID ring that we have, right? Like it's still beating a dead horse. He has not changed the approach at all. Any year in the playoffs, it's always been the same approach and it's never changed and it's always the same outcome outside of the one shortened season.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like yeah, I mean, I think regardless, I'm not even looking manager decisions. Just that comment he made on that Teoscar ball day.
No, yeah, but it's also
I
manager
don't like the
decisions one
culture he
thing,
sets.
comments, mentality is another thing, but it's also what happens in the locker room. Like how is Dave coaching? It's not even game time decisions. It is off the field. What is he doing in the locker room? What is he doing at practice? How is he game planning against the Padres and against these teams? And I know it's the Padres. I know interdivision opponents always give the Dodgers some issues, but there has to be some way. There's clearly something that those teams are doing Dave Roberts can't figure out.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like they just got dudes getting hot. Like Tatis lining us up. Kyle Higashioka's got a 1900 OPS right now. Like shit happens. It's baseball.
Yeah, but it's
What are you
every
gonna
year.
do? No, I know, but I think a lot of it's format's awful. We get screwed with this format.
Yeah, but in
There's
the
some
end, you
other
can't always
factors.
blame format. There has to be, you have to have the team take some accountability. And even though it is on the
Oh,
players to make plays,
100%. Hey,
it is
I'm
on the
Mr.
coaching staff to
Accountability. I
prepare
love
those
that.
players to make those plays.
No, yes. I'll say they will change its format after this year. It'll be better.
But
We'll be
yeah,
better off.
anyways, let's wrap up with college football here. I know you got to give your spot. So
Okay, yeah, college football. This is a crazy week. So many top teams went down on the apple picking weekend.
yeah, not so much apple picking weekend. So we thought this might have been
This is probably the best week
the
so far.
best college football weekend that we would have this season.
Oh yeah. A lot of things happened, lot of moving parts. And yeah, I'm still a little bit torn on my rankings. Not gonna lie, still a little iffy on what to do here. And first I'll quickly just go over games real quick. The Alabama Vanderbilt thing was just like that to me. I don't want to dock Alabama too hard because I think it's just the classic look ahead spot. They got Tennessee coming up. Like I understand, but it is Vanderbilt. That was the biggest upset in SEC history. You have the king of the conference going up against historically the worst team in the conference, and David beat Goliath. So Alabama, like you should be punished for that. I do think, at the end of the day, does this change my opinion on Alabama's like national title hopes? No. Still think they got a pretty damn good shot at winning it all. But it just, as an Ohio State fan, makes it feel a lot better. Ohio State will
Yeah.
not do that. But yeah, no, really, I gotta do this from last segment. I gotta keep this. Tennessee fans, I know it's weird for you. You guys have been irrelevant for the second time in your life. I know it's a weird time for you. You're excited for your team. Josh Heupel's your guy. It's an exciting time. You got Nico slinging it. It's very fun. But you're not at the big kids table yet. I made this point the other day, but Everett, the Tennessee Volunteers, before Hendon Hooker a few years ago, the last time Tennessee had beaten Alabama was in 2007 when Arian Foster was the Tennessee running back. So for many Tennessee Volunteer fans listening right now, probably born like 04, 05, 06, 07, you've quite literally beaten your rival once in your life. There's levels to this. You guys aren't quite at the big boys table yet. You guys are still eating mac and cheese and dino chicken nuggets at the kids table. You're still eating
respect
that.
though. Respect.
Oh, mad respect. I
respect.
love the days. That sounds great when I'm a Chargers fan, when I'm at the little kids table. I love it. But for college football, you're now trying to sit at the big boy table. You're gonna have to act like a big boy if you want to be treated like one. You can't be making excuses. Look at Ohio State fans and just Google Ohio State on Twitter and see what Ohio State fans were saying about the team only being up 7-0 at halftime. Okay. If you were to read those tweets, you would think Ohio State was losing 48-0 if you were reading halftime tweets. No, Ohio State was winning, but Ohio State fans are batshit and they hold their team to championship caliber expectations. And when the players aren't reaching that, they will call the players garbage to their face. They don't care at all. That's like the difference with a Tennessee fan. Instead of taking some accountability, like we've been talking about, you like to point fingers and blame other people. You never want to say we lost the game. Somebody lost the game for us. There's no way we did anything
Nico
wrong.
Definitely lost the game for you guys.
Yeah, Nico is not like great at the end. And just in general, like, how are you only putting up 14 points on Arkansas? Just in general, like
that's the worst part of it all.
We're talking about Sam Pittman, Arkansas here. I'm not talking about Petrino, Arkansas. Okay, we're talking about Sam Pittman, Arkansas. So no, that's an absolute embarrassment, travesty, pathetic. Ugh, yuck. Moving on, Missouri. I'll make this one shorter. I had to listen to Missouri fans over the summer try to tell me they're better than Ohio State because they beat us in a meaningless bowl game. Missouri was tied with Ohio State's backups at halftime. And our quarterback got knocked out, and we had to bring in a South Dakota quarterback, Lincoln Keenholz, to finish the game. So if you guys want to take that as your dub, if that's how you're going to beat Ohio State, congrats. It was probably the biggest win in program history, so I can understand why you're hyped on it. But yeah, you just got embarrassed by Connor Wegman. Boy, I would love to see what Connor Wegman's jersey would look like if he had to go up against Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau. I'd love to see the grass stains on his jersey if he had to face Ohio State. Oh my God. Yeah, Missouri. Holy shit. Be happy that the SEC bias media put you in the top 10 in the first place, just because you were an SEC school. Okay. It's the only reason you were there in the first place. It's a damn shame you guys ruined Luther Burden's career. There's a reason 5 stars don't go to shitty programs like Missouri. I am so sorry, Luther. You should have been a Buckeye, even though, to be honest, you probably would have gotten benched by Jeremiah. So I understand you didn't go to Ohio either, but I am so sorry, Luther, because you were unreal. I'll never forget. Ohio State guy, JMO's my guy. I'll never forget. I was watching JMO's high school tape, and there was this freshman receiver. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? It was Luther Burden. Luther Burden was unreal for Cardinal Ritter in St. Louis on JMO's high school team. Like, he was arguably better than JMO if JMO wasn't just faster than everybody. But it's a damn shame, Luther. It's a damn shame. I don't know where you're going to get drafted now. It's probably late 20s. I'm so sorry.
Still first round, though.
No, still first round, but I mean, if he was at Ohio State, like, you can get that Garrett top 10 money, shit, you're not getting that. Hey, maybe in an alternate reality though. There's one other USC before what I'm here for. USC. So I'd listen to USC fans last year try to tell me they're about to waltz into the Big Ten, steamroll everybody they face in the Big Ten. So it's going to be an absolute joke. Now you got USC to deal with. And for a little bit of time, I was like, maybe that could, maybe there's a world where USC could come in and do well in the Big Ten. I thought that's might be happening how that first LSU game went. But that USC Michigan game, Lincoln Riley not knowing how to coach in the Big Ten. He doesn't know how to coach in the Big Ten. The clock matters in the Big Ten. Time management, clock management, that matters a lot in the Big Ten. We're not there yet. Lincoln's not there yet. He doesn't quite know how to do it yet. And on the topic of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, Everett, USC fans are pointing fingers at refs. They're pointing fingers at refs, saying refs threw the game, refs threw us. The USC defense gave up 200 all-purpose yards to the Minnesota running back. And I don't even know the Minnesota running back's name. And I purposely won't look it up because it is irrelevant.
Just to reinforce the point.
You gave up 200 yards to a running back. That's why you lost the game. You couldn't get them off the field.
I mean,
Big Ten.
It's a Minnesota team who is extremely bad. Extremely bad. And if you have Big Ten championship aspirations, playoff aspirations, that's a team where you go in there and I guarantee you is for Ohio State, right? Ohio State, yeah, obviously we're thinking about Oregon. We're thinking about, always thinking about Michigan. Thinking about, I guess even in this situation, like Indiana, Rutgers right now, right?
I'm looking at
Minnesota, you might not pay as much attention to as those teams, but you're damn sure they're preparing those guys to go in there like it's those teams still.
Yeah.
And USC did not do that. USC walked in and be like, Minnesota, it's fine. Like,
actually, you bring up a good point, and I kind of want to reiterate this. I feel like this is really what the difference between an elite coaches and a great up-and-coming coach. I'm going to use Nick Saban as an example. When Nick Saban was at Alabama, Everett, Nick Saban did not get upset by Vandy. Nick Saban would not let his team get embarrassed like that. Nick Saban on a week-to-week basis, he knows he can't get his boys up for every single game. He knows that. But he will never let his boys roll over and sleepwalk through a week of practice to go play an inferior opponent. No. He reminds them that, hey, you might be laughing at the tackle that you're about to destroy, but he's looking at you like it's his Super Bowl. And he is putting
literally
every ounce of effort he has all season into this game.
I do think that's reinforced for every single upset that was this week. All the teams, it is always better to be the hunter than the hunted. Yes. And when you're a top team, you are always the hunted. And if you take one moment to give that team, like Nick Saban gave Vanderbilt, fuel for the fire.
Oh, well, that, yes.
Right? If you give any ounce of something to those teams, they take it and they run with it. So if you don't sit there and you don't prepare for them like they're your Super Bowl too, or even give them some ounce of,
treat them
like it's your Super Bowl. But even if you don't give them some ounce of credibility or some ounce of respect, it doesn't matter if you get on the field and you're like, I'm gonna sack this guy 5 times today. This tackle's ass, right? Yeah, doesn't even matter if that's the truth. You need to prepare for that tackle like you're going up against Georgia. All right. That's 1, how you get better. That's 2, how you stay undefeated. And 3, that's how you don't look like an absolute joke come Saturday when something like this happens and Vanderbilt takes you by surprise or Minnesota takes you by surprise. If you're a guy in the trenches, and the trenches matter so much in Big Ten football, even more than the Pac-12 by a very, very large margin, you're going to have your candy is going to get stolen from you. Like, it's so fundamental that you practice and you take those teams seriously.
Yeah, like I just thought naturally USC, you're joining a new conference. Like you quite literally have never faced many of these teams. Like Lincoln Riley is probably
definitely not in their states too. Like there's a lot of travel games.
Yeah, well that is, but it's like it makes me kind of sad knowing that like Lincoln Riley was overlooking these teams and he was.
I will say I hope that maybe the lesson's been learned from this.
Hey, I'd hope so. I thought the lesson was learned after Michigan, but it wasn't.
I thought the lesson was learned after Tulane, but with Lincoln Riley, you never know.
God, no. If anything, the Tulane game reinforced to Lincoln that he doesn't need to change a thing on defense. Like, yeah, we didn't have Jordan. We probably should have won. Yeah,
but I think for a lot of these coaches, Lincoln Riley especially, it's the same when we're talking about Dave Robert. It's a mindset thing going into these kind of games, and it's how you're teaching your players to play, right? Like if you tell your players, "Hey, we're preparing for Minnesota like we're playing Ohio State," they're gonna take you and they're gonna bring the energy like you're playing Ohio State. But if you tell them it's just Minnesota, like it's a joke, right? And you act that way, your players are gonna act that
No, yeah, no, that's the thing. Like it reflects on the coaching staff how they view their opponent. They clearly
way. Yeah,
didn't respect Minnesota, and then you saw what happened. And then
yeah.
that's the thing. The Michigan Wolverines. Um, Michigan went to Washington, lost, got beat down, rolled over, folded over, took an L. And there's a nice clip circulating of a Michigan high school recruiter, I believe, something with player personnel, high school player personnel. Um, and he was mouthing off at some Washington fans who were shit talking him on the sideline. And I will say this real quick to defend the guy. Like, hey, at the end of the day, like, I don't really look into it like too hard. Like, sure, the guy was calling out a fan. Like, if you were really the king of college football, like Michigan people say they are, you wouldn't be bothered by what fans say. You wouldn't even give them the time of day to respond. But I guarantee that Washington fan was saying something very bad to the Michigan person, and so I don't give him too much fault for calling out that guy. But I do think overall that is a reflection on the University of Michigan and how they are. Michigan administration, they openly lie to the public and they do not give a shit. Their president, Santa Ono, whatever, just openly lied multiple times saying they signed Sharon Moore to a contract. That was false. That like just happened a few weeks ago. Like he just openly lies to you and he doesn't care at all. Like that's the funniest part is he will just openly lie to you, get caught in the lie, and just be like, oh yeah, 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 no. Yeah, we never had that in the first place. And then the Michigan fans will literally sit there and like give him an excuse afterwards. Like, no. It's from the top down. Okay. Like this doesn't fly unless the higher ups are okay with it. But the University of Michigan, this Michigan men persona. I don't think there's anything that's been exposed as a fraud bigger in my life than the Michigan man persona. I heard my whole childhood
Santa Claus
Michigan men would never dare stoop low as Ohio State and
up
cheat
there with
like
Santa
Ohio
Claus.
State. I heard that my whole life. I remember over Tattoo Gate. There's literally Michigan people online who still have those tweets up today. They didn't delete them because they're that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Who genuinely equated Ohio State players trading in cleats for tattoos with paying players $1 million, like a Reggie Bush scandal. They were equating those. And
Yeah, the
it's just
bag
like,
man.
what are we talking about? Like, yeah, real quick on the Ohio State thing. Yeah, if Ohio State players were getting so much money, then why was Terrell Pryor driving like a Kia around campus and like working extra jobs in Columbus? If he was getting so much money, why would he do that?
Yeah, a player he's just choosing to do it. It's a character building
No,
opportunity.
yeah. He was just working at Chipotle for the work experience.
Hey
What?
man, they got great 401k benefits there, I've heard.
No, I know, but we're talking about the star
He wanted
quarterback of
that
Ohio
discount.
State football.
He wanted that discount.
But it's Michigan people, they're now going through the realization. Well, this is the thing. They're not quite going through a realization because they never watched football before 2021. So you guys don't know what it's like, what the University of Michigan football team is like normally. Do not look up Brady Hoke if you're a Michigan fan because it'll be disgusting. Do not look up him.
Yeah, that's the wrong Brady to look up if you're
do
looking up
not do
Michigan
not look up
stats.
Hoke and do not look up Rich Rod. But Michigan is back to being an embarrassment, an utter embarrassment, a laughing stock in the sport, and it's back to how the things. We're back to reality. We're back to earth. Like
Yeah,
finally,
you
this
came back from
nightmare.
the upside down.
Yeah, no, this nightmare is over now, Everett. And just to Michigan, I said this yesterday, I'll make it a little more clear. But I just want Michigan fans to know there's still only one game on the schedule for me. There's only one game on the schedule, and there will only be one game I care about for the rest of my life. And that's against that team up north in Ann Arbor. And that is it. There's no other game that I care about. People ask me, would you rather go 1-11, beat Michigan, or 15-1, win the Natty and lose to Michigan? I would rather go 1-11 and fucking run a train through the state of Michigan. And I'd pick out any day of the week. For me
no, that game
personally,
this year is
I
going to
could
be
not even take pride in a national championship knowing we didn't beat Michigan that year. That would bother me. I wouldn't consider them a true national champion. You didn't beat Michigan. That's the only goal every single year.
Very fair.
There's only
Very
one
fair.
goal. Every off-season workout, there's only one thing you think about in all those mat drills. Ohio State mat drills, when you got dudes literally choking each other out because they were wrestling, they just had them fight. You're fighting, imagining that you're going up against the Wolverines. Okay, you are going to choke out.
Yeah, you're literally thinking that they're wearing Michigan blue and gold
to beat Michigan. Hey, practice week, scout team, they will paint those helmets in that disgusting fucking maize and blue. They will paint that shit, and I want you to fucking smack the shit out of them every time you think of Michigan. Nothing makes my blood boil harder than thinking about Michigan. I'll say this. Michigan people are like, oh, Michigan lives rent-free in your head. Yeah, they do. Michigan's the
Ohio
first
State
thing
lives
I think
rent-free in
of
Michigan's too.
every morning. Well, this is the thing. I know Ohio State doesn't live rent-free in Michigan's head right now because Michigan believes they're bigger than the rivalry.
After this year, it might be different.
I'll be honest. There was a period of time where I didn't respect Michigan, but I never disrespected the rivalry. I will never disrespect the greatest rivalry in all sports. I'm more so
speaking the rivalry rather than the school.
That as well. But I don't care if Michigan is 0-11 when Ohio State plays them. I don't care if they're 12-0 undefeated. I want to beat the shit out of them equally, regardless of what circumstances.
That is the one game where running up the score with time left is reasonable.
As the great Woody Hayes once said in a blowout win against Michigan, at the end of the game, they were up 40, 50 points, Everett, and with a walk-off touchdown, Woody Hayes elected to go for 2 and rub it in. And after the game, Woody Hayes was asked, Coach, why did you go for 2? And his response, because they didn't let me go for 3.
And I think that's a perfect place to end the episode. So
I don't think there's any better way to sum up the rivalry than that. There's no such thing as taking it easy on that school. If you have a chance to embarrass them, you do it. And last thing before I let you outro, Everett, sorry. To all Michigan fans, I want to take away the thing you love so dearly. I want to take it away from you. You have pride rooting for your victors, hail to the victors every Saturday. I want to take away the thing you love away from you. I want to make the University of Michigan football team so bad that you're embarrassed to wear a Michigan shirt outside, that you're embarrassed to even say you're affiliated with the University of Michigan. I'd want nothing more in my life than for you to be so embarrassed of your school, you can't even support them without having public shame and humiliation. That's what I want. And I will not be satisfied until that happens. However long that takes, I will wait. And until that day comes, I'm not happy as an Ohio State fan. I want to end the University of Michigan.
With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, revise 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at EverettStakes and at WaterboyGrant. We post new episodes every Tuesday, or every week. It's kind of arbitrary, but on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on TikTok and on Instagram every week, so make sure to check us out there so you don't miss any of our content. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.